Hook 1. What if your greatest achievements were never posted, never praised, just felt? Hook 2. In a world addicted to applause, the strongest people walk silently and win loudly. Hook 3. Want real power? Then stop announcing every step. Though Stoics discovered that silence is not weakness, it's mastery. We live in an era drowning in noise. Every moment, someone somewhere is uploading their breakfast, their workouts, their weekend getaways, every tiny success as if the world is watching and grading. Social media has turned into a digital stage where people perform for likes, hoping to be validated by people they may never even meet. But the Stoics, they saw through the illusion. They understood a timeless truth. Real achievement doesn't crave attention. True mastery doesn't need clapping crowds. The deepest fulfillment comes not from external praise, but from quiet internal evolution, winning in silence. That's not weakness. It's the purest form of discipline, of control, of true power. It means staying focused on your own lane, ignoring the distractions, and resisting the impulse to announce every move. Let your results do the talking. That's what the Stoics lived by. So why choose silence? Because here's the harsh truth. No one truly cares about your wins the way you think they do. Most people are too caught up in their own battles. And some, they might envy you. A few might even secretly root against you. Your victories are not for them. They're for you. Your struggles, your lessons, your growth, these are your own. And the greatest prize isn't admiration, it's self-mastery. Impress yourself, not others. Check your ego at the door. Bury it deep, so deep that it stops driving your decisions. Every milestone you reach, every challenge you conquer, every skill you build, it's all part of your journey. You're the architect of your own success. No one is coming to hand it to you. It's on you. And here's something else. The quieter you are, the more uneasy it makes others. Jealous friends, competitive colleagues, even family members hiding resentment behind forced smiles. Your privacy unsettles them. Let it. Keep your wins private. Let them unfold like a quiet storm. When results appear without warning, it stings. Those who doubted you more than 1,000 words ever could. Silence becomes your shield. It protects you from unnecessary noise, from criticism that offers nothing, from negativity that drains. Stay in the shadows. Build there. Refine your skills. Strengthen your character. This isn't secrecy. It's strategy. This is the path of the disciplined. The way of the Stoic. The Stoics showed us that true power is found not in performance, but in quiet preparation. And from that stillness, a different kind of strength emerges, one that doesn't seek validation, but instead finds deep fulfillment within. This isn't just a mindset shift, it's a blueprint, a strategy for success that doesn't need cheering. Crowds, only your own unwavering commitment. Chapter 1. Why Silence is Strength. Picture two warriors preparing for battle. One stands tall, shouting of his past victories, proclaiming how the fight will end before it's even begun. He draws attention, demands recognition. The other? He sharpens his blade quietly, eyes focused, heart steady. He doesn't speak, he prepares. His confidence isn't worn like armor, it's forged inside. Now ask yourself, when the dust settles, who will be left standing? Silence is strength because it strips away the noise. It protects your mind from distractions. When you speak of your goals too soon, Before you've earned them, you open the door to opinions, judgments, and pressure. And with that pressure comes self-doubt. Your focus begins to splinter. Your energy leaks. The Stoics taught a powerful lesson. Focus only on what is within your control. And what is that exactly? Your actions, your consistency, your results. Not the reactions of others, not their praise, not their skepticism. Announcing your plans prematurely invites outside forces into your inner world. Even advice offered with good intentions can cloud your clarity. Every time you reveal your vision, you run the risk of letting external voices reshape your internal conviction. But when your purpose is true and unshakable, it doesn't need constant affirmation. And beyond the psychological toll, there's something even more dangerous: those who don't want you to succeed. Not every smile is genuine. Some people will plant doubt, question your every move, or quietly sabotage your momentum, driven by jealousy or their own insecurities. The fewer who know your path, the fewer can block it. Silence becomes your shield. With silence, you move freely, unpredictably. You conserve energy by not explaining, not defending, not justifying. Every time you speak unnecessarily, you burn mental fuel that should be used for action. And worst of all, talking about goals tricks your brain into feeling like you've already achieved something. It's a false reward, and a dangerous one. The Stoics understood this truth well. Words are easy. Results are rare. Now, as we continue forward, let's dive deeper into how silence doesn't just protect your goals, it amplifies them. Silence, as we've seen, isn't just protection, it's power. It keeps your vision clear, your path free from interference, and more importantly, it allows you to act, not just talk, because without action, nothing matters. Real progress isn't made in conversation, it's forged in execution. Beyond simply preserving energy, silence offers something even more valuable: the space to work on your own timeline, not one shaped by the expectations of others. The moment you share your goals publicly, a quiet burden settles in. You may not notice it right away, but it's there. Unspoken pressure to meet deadlines no one actually set, to prove something you never needed to prove. This self-imposed weight can crush your momentum. It breeds anxiety, burnout, and a fear of failing in front of an invisible audience. But those who keep their ambitions private, they work with calm, clarity, and peace. Their path is theirs alone. In today's hyper-digital world, where every minor achievement is flaunted online, the art of discretion is becoming rare. But for those who practice it, it becomes an extraordinary advantage. Secrecy clears away the noise. It keeps your mind sharp, your focus clean, your independence intact. And most importantly, it protects your vision. You don't let other people's perspectives contaminate your plan. You're not hiding because you fear failure. You're preserving something sacred. So how do you live this principle? Start simple. Resist the urge to share every step of your journey. Don't treat your goals like announcements. Treat them like treasures. Keep them safe. Protect them from premature exposure. The fewer people who know what you're building, the more freedom you have to shape it without resistance or noise. Secrecy is not weakness, it's strength. It's the mark of someone who understands the value of their mission. Think about it. A tree doesn't shout about its roots while growing underground. A river doesn't declare its power until it has carved through stone. Your progress should mirror this: quiet, persistent, unstoppable. Behind the scenes, put in the work, refine your skills, strengthen your discipline, build in silence. Understand that the most meaningful effort is often invisible. The long nights, the quiet sacrifices, the relentless consistency no one sees. The greatest warriors don't brag about their training. They let their results speak in battle, and you should do the same. Let your work be your voice. Let your consistency be your message. Let your success prove everything without a word. And remember this: time spent trying to explain your dreams to those who don't understand them is time stolen from building them. Now, in the next chapter, let's explore how the practice of humility elevates this silent strength to an even higher level. The silent path is not easy, but it is powerful. When you build in silence, free from distraction, you protect your vision and preserve your strength. Now let's go even deeper into the mindset that sustains this discipline: the quiet pursuit of mastery. The truth is, most people haven't walked your path. They can't see what you see. They don't carry your burdens, nor do they fully grasp your potential. What they do see is shaped by their own limitations, their own fears, and their own insecurities. That's why sharing your dreams too soon often leads to misunderstanding, or worse, doubt and judgment. Instead of inviting skepticism, let your success surprise them. Let it arrive without warning, undeniable and unshakable. That is the Stoic way: strong, steady, and silent. Real strength doesn't need to shout. It doesn't demand attention. It is quiet, patient, and relentless, like a fire that never goes out. It burns with intention, not performance. Always growing, always refining, always improving. History remembers the greats, the minds, the leaders, the builders, not because they chased applause, but because they chased mastery. And mastery? It's built away from the spotlight. It's crafted in solitude with unwavering commitment. Understand this: silence is not emptiness, it's power. In silence, you gain control over your journey. You remove the noise, the opinions, the distractions, and you create space to focus fully on your mission. You rise without interference, you grow without limitation, you move at your own rhythm. When you build quietly, you become untouchable. You are no longer burdened by pressure or driven by the need to perform. And when the time comes, when your results finally emerge, they speak for themselves. The world won't just notice, it will marvel, having no clue what you overcame in the shadows. So keep your goals close, protect them. Let your progress remain unseen until it cannot be ignored. Seek no validation from others, because true satisfaction doesn't come from applause. It comes from looking in the mirror and knowing you've grown, stronger, wiser, more resilient than you were yesterday. No one else is living your journey. No one else is carrying your load. That's why the only approval that matters is your own. Seeking praise from the outside world is a trap, a distraction dressed up as encouragement. The moment you start relying on others to validate your efforts, you surrender your power. You let their opinions steer your emotions. Their perceptions shape your self-image. Their approval becomes your prison. But when you break free, when you focus solely on becoming better than the person you were yesterday, everything changes. Your goals become deeper, your growth becomes real. And your achievements, they hold weight, not because others clap for them, but because they come from a place of true self-mastery. This mindset doesn't just strengthen you, it liberates you. And next, we'll explore how this inner freedom becomes the foundation for unshakable resilience. When you stop chasing applause, something powerful happens. You become grounded. You gain clarity. You find discipline not through the approval of others, but through the deep knowing that you're on the right path for you. In that stillness, in that self-alignment, you find something rare, freedom. Because the most lasting fulfillment doesn't come from admiration. It comes from integrity. It comes from staying true to yourself, even when the world is loud with opinions. Chapter 2. Breaking free. Focus on yourself. So many people spend their lives chasing validation. They hunger for recognition. They want the world to see their progress, applaud their success, confirm that they're doing well. But stop and ask, why? Approval is fleeting. It's like smoke. There one moment, gone the next. It doesn't build anything lasting. It doesn't carry you through struggle. The praise you get today is easily forgotten by tomorrow. And worse, the admiration of others is often conditional. It changes with trends, with public mood, or even just convenience. If your confidence is built on their approval, it's built on sand. The moment that applause fades, your foundation crumbles. The Stoics understood this illusion. Marcus Aurelius himself wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Think about that. Why do we let someone else's view of us dictate our happiness? Why do we allow their perception to define our worth? The truth is, most people are too busy with their own worries to truly understand your journey. Their judgments come through the fog of their own fears, their insecurities, their comparisons. And if they do pay attention to you, it's often through a lens of envy or silent competition. Chasing validation doesn't just distract you, it weakens you. It turns your attention outward when it should be turned inward. Instead of tracking your growth by your own progress, you start measuring it by how many people clap, how many people notice, how many people approve. You become a performer, a prisoner of public opinion. You start to fear criticism, depend on praise, and slowly hand over control of your identity to the crowd. That's not mastery. That's self-sabotage. The only validation that truly matters is your own. You must become your own judge, your own compass, your own standard of excellence. Define success by your inner evolution, not by how many people are watching. Because the moment you make approval your goal, you lose control. You'll always be chasing, always shape-shifting, always bending, just to fit someone else's idea of who you should be. But when you let go, when you detach from the need to be seen, praised, or liked, you reclaim your power. You move differently. You live on your own terms. Praise no longer distracts you. Criticism no longer defines you. You stop performing and start becoming. You begin to understand the value of silence over spectacle. And in the next chapter, we'll uncover how mastering this silent discipline allows you to sharpen your mind, amplify your strength, and achieve more by doing less. When you no longer need others to approve of your journey, you reclaim your power. You stop performing. You stop waiting. You start growing for yourself. Because in the end, it's always about substance over showmanship, mastery over attention, and your path It's yours alone to walk. Stop waiting for someone else to affirm your direction. They don't need to get it. They don't need to applaud it. What matters is that you understand it, that you stay committed, that you continue to grow, evolve, and prove again and again, not to the world but to yourself, that you are capable of greatness. Looking for approval from others? It's a losing game. The only validation you'll ever truly need is the kind you give yourself. Here's a reality check. No one else cares about your success as deeply as you do. Most people are too wrapped up in their own challenges, goals, and doubts. Yes, they might cheer for a moment, maybe even post a supportive comment. But soon after, they move on, back to their own lives, their own battles. Even those who seem to support you might be quietly comparing, judging, or worse, envying your progress. That's the danger of seeking external validation. It builds your motivation on unstable ground. It ties your self-worth to applause that can disappear just as quickly as it came. And when that praise fades, so does your drive. But when you flip the script, when your motivation comes from within, everything changes. You start working for personal growth, not public recognition. You train for your own discipline, your own fulfillment, your own mastery. Understand this deeply. No one is coming to push you every day. No one will carry you through your lowest points. The responsibility to move forward, to rise after setbacks, rests entirely on your shoulders. And that is not a burden, it's a gift. Because it means your progress, your path, your destiny is entirely in your hands. You don't need the spotlight. You don't need the crowd. You just need to keep showing up, persistent, patient, and powerful. Let your victories be silent. Celebrate quietly, not for attention, for alignment. Because you know the work you've done, you know how far you've come, and that's enough. Chapter 3. Privacy is power. There's an old saying, move in silence, only speak when it's time to say, checkmate. When your plans are private, you hold the advantage. No one can interfere. No one can derail your progress. No one can inject doubt or resistance because they don't even know what you're building. That's the beauty of silence. It allows you to operate with full focus, undisturbed by opinions, untouched by noise. Your momentum stays strong, your goals stay clear, and your peace protected. Because privacy is more than discretion, it's a shield. And next, we'll explore how this shield preserves not just your progress, but your energy, your peace of mind, and your long-term success. Privacy protects not just your energy, it protects your direction. It shields your progress from the noise of the world and gives you full control over your journey. Now let's look closer at one of the greatest threats to success, distraction through oversharing. Many people unintentionally sabotage their goals simply by speaking too soon. The moment you announce your plans, you open the door to opinions. And while opinions might seem harmless, most are anything but. Some are discouraging, others are subtly undermining. A few might even be outright destructive. Why? Because when you reveal your goals early, you invite projections, not just perspectives. People begin to cast their own fears, their own limitations, their own failures onto your journey. They don't mean to, but it happens. Suddenly, doubts appear that weren't there before. Obstacles begin forming, not in your path, but in your mind. That's why the greatest builders, creators, and achievers often work in silence. They understand a hard truth. The more you reveal, the more exposed and vulnerable you become. By keeping your ambitions private, you stay in control. You maintain your independence. You're not shackled by the weight of expectations. You're free to pivot, to grow, to evolve your plan without the pressure of explaining yourself to people who ultimately don't need to understand. The moment you begin sharing, your dreams are no longer just yours. They're subject to interpretation, judgment, and resistance. And not everyone watching is rooting for you. People are naturally curious, but that curiosity can quietly morph into envy. Some will pretend to be happy for you while secretly hoping you fail. Why? Because your quiet ambition reminds them of their own inaction. Your discipline highlights their excuses. Your potential challenges their comfort zones. And instead of being inspired, some respond with criticism, with doubt, with passive resistance. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing something they're not. This is why protecting your dreams is so important, especially in their early stages. Keep them private until they are strong, until they are solid, until they cannot be shaken by outside noise. When you win in silence, your progress stays pure, untouched by opinions, shielded from negativity. You eliminate distractions. You remove the need to perform for others or prove anything before you're ready. When you move privately, you move freely. You decide your pace. You build your way. You execute on your terms. And when the time finally comes to reveal your results, there will be no need to explain or defend. Your success will speak loudly, even in silence. Next, we'll uncover how this silent discipline leads to something even greater: the power to influence others not through words but through undeniable results. When you protect your progress and move in silence, your results speak for themselves, clear, powerful, and undeniable. By the time the world notices, it's already too late for doubt to matter. Those who once dismissed you, envied you, or quietly hoped for your failure, they'll have no choice but to sit in silence and watch, wondering how you built something so unshakable right under their noses. That is the power of privacy. Guard your goals as you would a fortress. Treat your dreams as sacred, worthy of protection from external noise. Your ambitions deserve a space where they can breathe, grow, and evolve, uninterrupted by judgment or premature exposure. The fewer people who know your plans, the fewer distractions you'll face. The fewer doubts, the fewer delays. Every move made in silence is a move made in strength. Privacy isn't about hiding. It isn't rooted in fear. It's rooted in strategy. It's a conscious choice to preserve your focus, to shield your momentum, and to avoid the chaos that comes when you invite too many voices into your vision. When you protect your ambitions, you silence the noise. You sharpen your clarity. Your energy goes exactly where it should, to execution and growth, not to pleasing spectators. Avoid the need to brag. True confidence doesn't shout. It moves with quiet certainty. There's unmatched power in walking into a room without needing attention, yet naturally commanding respect. Confidence isn't loud. It doesn't beg for applause. It doesn't rely on likes, comments, or praise. Those who are truly powerful don't waste time trying to prove themselves. They simply are. They walk in truth, act with purpose, and let their presence speak louder than any words could. The strongest individuals aren't the ones constantly talking about what they're going to do. They're the ones quietly doing it. They lead through steady, unwavering presence, through quiet assurance, not empty declarations. So keep your victories humble. The world doesn't need to know every step you take, every small success you achieve. Not every milestone requires a broadcast. True success is best savored in silence because it's yours, personal, meaningful, complete. Every lesson you learn, every challenge you overcome, every win you secure, let it be for your own growth, not for the world's validation. When your wins remain private, your inner strength deepens. You become free from opinions, from expectations, from judgment. Your progress becomes a quiet force, unseen at first, but impossible to ignore when it finally reveals itself. And the most powerful individuals? They never need to boast because their results. They speak for themselves. In the next chapter, we'll explore how this quiet strength transforms not only how others see you, but how you see yourself. True strength doesn't need a spotlight. As we've seen, those who grow quietly often rise the highest, without a word, without warning. Chapter 4, The Art of Being. Unseen, a wise man once said, "Be like the night, silent, mysterious, and powerful." There is strength in mystery. There is power in not being fully understood. The less people know about you, the less they can influence you. The more unpredictable you are, the more control you hold over your story. When you move in silence, you become unreadable. And unpredictability? That's a form of power in itself. The moment people think they've figured you out, they begin to form expectations. They judge. They assume. And with those assumptions, they try to put you in a box to limit you. But when you remain elusive, when your next move is unknown, you keep the upper hand. You're always a step ahead. People are naturally curious. They watch, they listen, they speculate. But often it's not because they genuinely want to support you, it's because they want to compare, to measure, to figure out where you stand and where they stand in relation. They'll analyze your choices, track your progress, search for signs of success, but not always from admiration, often from insecurity. When someone sees you doing well in silence, it shines a light on what they've neglected in themselves. And the less you reveal, the more they wonder. That curiosity becomes speculation. That speculation can turn into obsession. And by the time your results emerge, they won't just be surprised. They'll be left speechless, realizing they were too busy watching others while you were quietly building something powerful. Silence draws attention in a different way. When you don't explain your choices, when you don't justify your steps, people are left to guess. Their imagination fills the gaps, and often that imagination creates a bigger impact than anything you could have said. In that mystery, you gain a quiet form of respect, not the kind that's demanded, but the kind that's earned, not through words, but through undeniable achievement. You become the enigma, the one who moves without noise, yet progresses without fail, the one who doesn't need to shout to be noticed, and that makes people pay attention, because now they want to understand how you operate, but they never will, because you've mastered something rare, the art of moving without being seen. Real power doesn't arrive with fanfare. It doesn't make announcements. It builds in the background, quietly gaining strength. It's like a storm gathering far, beyond the horizon, silent at first, but inevitable in its arrival, because true greatness never chases validation. It waits, it builds, and when the time is right, it reveals itself with a force no one can ignore. And next, we'll explore that final key, the one that transforms quiet power into unstoppable presence, the timeless Stoic virtue of patience. Greatness doesn't need a drum roll. Like a storm gathering power in silence, true mastery is forged quietly, unseen, uninterrupted, and unstoppable. To build in silence is to refine your craft and strengthen your mind while the world remains unaware. Many rush to claim recognition, eager to be seen before the work is finished. They want credit without completion. But those who understand the power of restraint know something deeper. Results speak louder than words. They know mastery isn't born from noise. It's born from relentless effort in the shadows, quiet hours, private discipline, invisible breakthroughs. Let them wonder, let them guess. And when your results finally appear, let them realize they were never supposed to see the work. Only the outcome. When you rise, do it without announcements. When you achieve, do it without seeking applause. Because when your foundation is strong, your success speaks for itself, and the world will take notice on its own, just like the tallest. Trees grow in complete silence, pushing their roots deep into the earth before ever reaching for the sky. Like the strongest warriors who train alone, mastering technique in solitude before ever entering the arena. The most successful people, the true architects of greatness, build behind the scenes. Their empires emerge not with fanfare, but with undeniable force. That is the essence of quiet dominance. By the time the world sees it, it's already too late to question it. The groundwork has been laid. The victory is inevitable. So resist the urge to explain yourself. You don't owe the world an update. Let them wonder. Avoid comparisons. They do nothing but distract and discourage. The moment you measure your journey against someone else's timeline, you abandon your own growth for their approval. And in doing so, you rob yourself of joy, clarity, and momentum. Remember, every person walks a different path, shaped by different struggles, resources, and opportunities. Trying to match your journey to someone else's only limits your potential. Why look sideways when your real power lies in looking within? Instead of watching others, turn that energy inward. Use it to sharpen your skills, strengthen your mindset, push your limits. Growth comes when you're fully immersed in your own lane, focused, grounded, and undisturbed by outside benchmarks. And when you master that focus, when you stop measuring and start building, something shifts. You develop a level of clarity and discipline that few ever reach. You begin rising toward your highest potential, free from envy, free from noise, free from doubt. That is quiet influence. That is real power. It doesn't need a spotlight. It creates its own. Chapter 5. Humility attracts greatness, because in the end, the universe doesn't reward arrogance. It rewards humility. And the moment you stop working for recognition and start working for purpose, everything changes. When you work with humility, not for attention but for progress, something incredible happens. You naturally begin to attract more success. Not because you're chasing it, but because you're aligned with something deeper. The Stoics deeply valued humility. Why? Because it grounds you. It keeps your ego in check. It protects your peace from the highs and lows of public opinion. humility doesn't just keep you calm, it keeps you strong. True power doesn't need an audience. The strongest individuals are those who can rise without needing to be seen. They can build without broadcasting. They win in silence, not because they're hiding, but because they don't need the noise. Winning quietly is the ultimate expression of humility. It shows you're not driven by ego, you're not chasing attention, you're not dependent on applause. You're content with real progress, the kind that happens within. That's true strength, when you can celebrate your victories privately without fishing for praise or seeking approval. You unlock something rare. You become laser-focused. You stop getting distracted by compliments or criticism. You don't slow down to explain yourself. You keep moving forward quietly, steadily, relentlessly. The humble understand this. Their journey belongs to them. They don't need to prove anything to anyone. Their value isn't determined by public applause, and their worth isn't on display for votes. They move with quiet confidence, rooted in purpose. They understand that greatness isn't about being seen. It's about being disciplined, committed, and resilient when no one's watching. The more you detach from the need for recognition, the stronger you become. Why? Because now you're no longer a prisoner of perception. You're not performing. You're becoming. Admiration fades. Trends shift. Public favor changes like the wind. But your inner progress, that's permanent. That's yours. True humility doesn't mean downplaying your achievements. It means knowing they don't need to be validated to matter. It means you understand success is not something others hand to you through their approval. It's something you earn, in silence, through effort, through the daily pursuit of mastery. Those who are truly great don't ask for admiration. They're too busy improving their skills, sharpening their discipline, elevating their craft. They measure success not by applause, but by their own standard of excellence. Humility is the freedom to detach from applause and stay focused on what really matters, the work itself, the effort, the process, the growth, not the recognition that may or may not follow. And in this mindset, you begin to rise, quietly, powerfully, without ego, without expectation. Because the moment you stop caring about who's watching, you unlock a level of discipline and focus few people ever reach. And next, we'll explore exactly how this silent strength can shape not only your path, but your legacy in the quiet pursuit of self-mastery. Something unshakable is born. When your success is grounded in humility, it no longer depends on applause. It becomes undeniable. A life built on humility is a life that endures. It doesn't crack under pressure. It doesn't waver when doubt creeps in or when critics speak loudly. The humble keep moving, not because they're trying to prove themselves, but because they're focused on becoming their best. They don't waste time convincing others of their worth. Their results speak louder than any explanation ever could. They don't let arrogance interrupt their growth, nor do they fall into the trap of chasing recognition. Because real success, it's not about being acknowledged, it's about becoming unavoidable, so effective, so disciplined, so relentless, that eventually the world has to notice. And when that moment comes, it won't be because you begged for attention. It will be because your impact is too powerful to be ignored. Winning in silence protects your energy. It keeps your motivation pure, driven from within, not dictated by the applause of the crowd. You begin to build something real, something solid, something that no one can take from you, because it was forged in discipline, carved through struggle, and powered by quiet determination. When you stop seeking validation and focus on making real progress, you become untouchable. Setbacks can't break you. Opinions can't sway you. Even failure loses its grip because you no longer measure yourself by outcomes alone, but by the strength you've gained along the way. And over time, those who doubted you, those who mocked or dismissed your efforts, they'll see what you've built. But by then, it won't matter, because you've already won, not in their eyes, but in your own. And that, above all, is the victory that truly matters. So, stay humble. Let your success be a quiet force. Don't aim to impress others. Aim to impress yourself. Not with fame or applause, but with excellence, with growth, with the discipline to show up again and again, even when no one's watching. Because the need to impress others is a distraction, a heavy burden that only pulls you away from your mission. But when your goal is to make yourself proud, your drive becomes unshakable. You stop chasing, you stop performing, and you start building something lasting. Every time you resist the urge to seek admiration, every time you turn inward instead of outward, you become stronger. And in the next chapter, we'll explore how that strength leads you to the highest form of freedom, complete self-mastery. The more you turn inward, driven by purpose instead of praise, the stronger you become. Your resilience deepens, your confidence grows, not because others validate your journey, but because you've seen the proof in your own effort, in your own progress, and in the discipline you chose when no one was watching. That's the real test of success. Can you look in the mirror and honestly say, I gave it everything? When you focus on impressing yourself, on earning your own respect, you become unstoppable. You are no longer seeking approval. You are seeking excellence. True greatness doesn't need an audience. It doesn't wait for applause or chase recognition. It thrives in the quiet, behind closed doors, in the places where most people quit. It's nurtured in the solitude of discipline and persistence, two qualities only a few are willing to endure long enough to reach mastery. Because the greatest achievements, they are born in silence, crafted in the long, unseen hours of effort, shaped by consistency when no one is watching. They are not fueled by noise. They are built in the dark and revealed only when they're undeniable. Real greatness is not about being noticed. It's about being undeniable, about becoming so capable, so committed, so refined in your craft that recognition no longer even matters. You rise not because you sought attention, but because what you built was simply too powerful to ignore. When you devote yourself entirely to your work, when you focus on refining your skills, deepening your mindset, and growing beyond limits, external validation loses its grip on you. You no longer crave it. And yet, paradoxically, it will come, not because you chased it, but because you became something that demands it. Chapter 6. The Long-Term Rewards of Quiet Success. Winning in silence isn't a shortcut, it's a long-term strategy. While others burn out chasing temporary applause, you'll be building something real. Something rooted, something that lasts. Your success won't be a performance, it will be a reality. The moment you break free from the need to be seen, you gain the freedom to fully focus. You eliminate the pressure of judgment, And while the world broadcasts half-finished efforts in search of clout, you'll be in the background, mastering your discipline uninterrupted. The rewards of quiet success are deeper than status or fame. You earn peace of mind, the freedom to move without explanation, the power to reveal your achievements only when they're too solid to be questioned. The Stoics knew this well. Everything external fades. Social standing, public praise, recognition, all temporary. But internal strength, wisdom, discipline, those are forever. When you prioritize true progress over appearance, you build something that can't be shaken. You begin shaping a mindset that's not reactive to trends or opinions, but anchored in principle. True success is a slow burn, not a flashy explosion. It's forged in patience. It's the product of countless unseen hours of relentless resilience in the face of doubt and of a deep-rooted devotion to personal excellence. And in the next chapter, we'll explore how to carry this quiet fire through every season of life so that your journey doesn't just lead to success, but to self-mastery. When you detach from the need for external validation, you liberate yourself from a heavy, invisible burden, the pressure to perform, to impress, to constantly prove yourself. It all fades. And in its place, a quiet, focused power begins to rise. Now your journey becomes personal, internal. Every step, every setback, and every hard-won lesson holds deeper meaning because it's not for show, it's for you. You stop performing for an audience and start transforming for yourself. You're no longer distracted by the need to impress or conform. Instead, you're fully immersed in something far more important, becoming your best self. And that is what makes success not just satisfying, but sustainable. Winning in silence shapes a different kind of confidence. It's not loud, it doesn't seek attention, but it's steady, grounded, and unshakable. You develop resilience. You sharpen mental clarity. You build an inner strength that no criticism, no applause, and no setback can shake. Eventually, the world will notice. But by the time it does, it won't matter. Because while they were busy seeking followers and likes, you were building something real. Something that doesn't need to be seen to be valid. Something lasting. And when that moment comes, when your success finally emerges, there will be no need for explanations, no speeches, no convincing. The work will speak on your behalf. The results will say everything that words could never capture. The true rewards of winning in silence are not just what you gain on the outside, they're who you become on the inside. You evolve into someone who no longer needs recognition to feel worthy, because your achievements are self-sustaining, rooted deeply in character, effort, and discipline. Build for the long term. Focus on what lasts. Don't chase temporary applause, chase real results. The kind of success that doesn't disappear with trends, the kind that doesn't crumble when opinions shift, when you commit to daily improvement, to showing up, refining your skills and staying the course. You create something substantial, something durable, something no one can take from you. Too many people get caught chasing the illusion of fast fame, mistaking visibility for value. But true success isn't about being noticed early. It's about becoming undeniable over time. It's about mastering your craft so completely that no matter how long it takes, your work commands respect. The ones who rise highest are the ones who wait, the ones who understand that meaningful, lasting progress cannot be rushed. They are patient, they are persistent, and they build day by day in silence. So let others chase the spotlight. Let them burn brightly for a moment. You're building something deeper, something grounded, something real. And when your success finally arrives, it won't just shine. It will stand, unshakable. In the next chapter, we'll look at how this kind of quiet legacy outlives applause and becomes something far greater than recognition. True success is permanent, not because the world applauds it, but because it was, never dependent on the world's recognition to begin with. Lasting greatness is built from the inside out. It's not handed to you. It's earned, layer by layer. When you master yourself first, everything else falls into place. Strength becomes undeniable. Wisdom becomes your compass. Discipline becomes second nature. The world doesn't grant greatness. It only acknowledges it when it has no choice, when your results speak so loudly that even silence becomes impossible to ignore. Build yourself with relentless effort. Cultivate an indomitable spirit. Train your mind to stay clear, focused, and unshaken by distractions or setbacks. When that foundation is solid, you become unstoppable. True mastery has nothing to do with proving yourself to others. It's about refining yourself so completely that the need for recognition disappears. You no longer seek applause. You pursue excellence. You don't crave approval. You chase self-improvement. And when you do that, something powerful happens. The world will take notice, not because you asked it to, but because your results demand attention. When you are truly great, you don't have to say a word. Your presence speaks volumes. It's felt in your discipline. It shows in your decisions. It radiates from your calm, quiet confidence. So keep going. Forge ahead, uninterrupted by noise, untouched by praise or criticism. Become so good, so focused, so consistent that the world has no option but to notice. And when that moment arrives, when recognition finally comes, remember, you did it for yourself first. Not for applause, not for approval. Because in the end, true success isn't about being seen. It's about becoming. Chapter 7. The hidden strength of self-control. Behind every quiet success lies one powerful virtue, self-control. It's the key to staying steady in silence. The Stoics knew this well. They believed that real power isn't about overpowering others. It's about mastering yourself. It's the ability to restrain your emotions, to choose intention over impulse, to remain composed, especially when things get hard. In a world that constantly rewards quick reactions and instant gratification, self-control is rare, and that makes it invaluable. It's what allows you to resist distractions, delay short-term rewards, and focus fully on what truly matters. To win in silence, you must be able to keep going, even when no one notices, even when there's no praise, no validation, no one watching. It's about doing the work, quietly, consistently, without needing recognition. And next, we'll explore how emotional discipline is the key to that quiet consistency and the secret to becoming unshakable in a world full of noise. To master yourself, you must first master your reactions. In a noisy world full of emotional triggers, self-control becomes your superpower. Every challenging moment, every test of your patience is a hidden opportunity to grow stronger. When you react impulsively, you give away your power. You become reactive, controlled by your environment instead of controlling your response. But when you pause, when you breathe, when you choose intention over instinct, you reclaim that power. Emotional control isn't something you're born with. It's a discipline, one that's built moment by moment, choice by choice. It's developed through deliberate effort, especially in the moments when it's hardest to stay calm. The Stoics believed that real power isn't found in dominating others. It's found in mastering yourself. And that mastery begins when you stop letting temporary emotions guide permanent decisions. Each time you resist the urge to lash out, to defend your ego, to react impulsively, you step into quiet strength. You become the one who commands respect without raising your voice. So how do you build this kind of discipline? Start small. Practice mindfulness in everyday life. Notice your emotions without letting them drive your actions. Recognize that feelings are fleeting, but discipline is forever. In the long run, it's not the loudest voice in the room that holds the most power. It's the calmest presence, the one who stays centered in the storm. That's the strength of the silent winner. And another cornerstone of that strength? The ability to delay gratification. Lasting success is never immediate. It demands patience and self-restraint. It means resisting what's easy now for what's better later. The ability to say "not yet" in the face of temptation is what separates mediocrity from mastery. Every time you choose discipline over indulgence, you build character. You reinforce your mental strength. You inch closer to the kind of growth that lasts a lifetime. Delaying gratification isn't just about avoiding short-term pleasure. It's about rising above impulse. It's about embracing the discomfort of waiting and knowing that the most valuable rewards are earned, not given. Real success is built on consistency, not on shortcuts. The most successful people, they're the ones who can stay the course, who grind in silence, who understand that progress often remains invisible until one day it becomes undeniable. So, be patient. Trust the process. See your sacrifices not as losses, but as investments, deposits into a future only you can build. And when you can delay gratification without frustration, you gain an edge few possess. While others scramble for quick wins, you're laying the foundation for something real, something unshakable. Cultivate mental resilience. And next, we'll explore how this resilience becomes your anchor in chaos and the quiet engine that keeps you moving forward no matter what comes your way. Your ability to delay gratification lays the foundation, but your ability to remain composed in chaos, that's what makes you unshakable. Real power lies in calm under pressure, in standing tall when the storm hits, in keeping your clarity when everyone else is spiraling. Mental resilience is not about having an easy path, it's about enduring when the path becomes uncertain. It's the strength to keep going when everything around you says, stop. It's the quiet force that helps you move through doubt, setbacks, and criticism without losing momentum. Think of it as internal armor. Resilience protects you from fear, from insecurity, from the weight of outside opinions. So how do you build this inner strength? By leaning into discomfort, by facing challenges head-on instead of avoiding them. Just like muscles are built through resistance, The mind is fortified through struggle. Every difficult moment you endure, every quiet battle you fight, it adds to your strength. Hardship is not the enemy. It's the gym where your mental toughness is trained. Each challenge is a lesson, a test of discipline, an invitation to grow, tougher, wiser, and more focused. The moment you stop fearing struggle and start embracing it, you unlock a whole new level of strength, silent strength, lasting strength. And resilience isn't just about enduring, it's about adapting. The most powerful individuals in history were not untouched by hardship. On the contrary, they thrived because they learned how to adapt. When plans fell apart, they didn't panic, they pivoted. They adjusted their course without abandoning their purpose. Resilience means staying flexible in thought while staying firm in discipline. It's about bending without breaking, being steady, not stubborn, strong, but adaptable. And when you master that, when you remain composed under pressure, you become truly unstoppable. Because then, your power doesn't come from controlling what's outside. It comes from conquering what's within. Chapter 8. Detaching from ego and embracing purpose. Now that we've built resilience, we face a new challenge, perhaps the most subtle one of all. Ego. The ego is the greatest enemy of silent progress. The moment you start seeking validation, your focus shifts. You move away from mastery and drift toward approval. And that shift is dangerous. The Stoics warned us of this trap. Ego blinds us. It makes us fragile. It keeps us from seeing our flaws, and when criticism comes, we crumble under it. But when your foundation is humility, when your drive is purpose, everything changes. And in the next part, we'll explore how letting go of ego allows you to build something far more powerful than applause, a legacy built on quiet, focused excellence. Letting go of ego frees you from the constant chase for validation. And when your focus shifts from approval to mastery, everything changes. Real growth doesn't happen in the spotlight. It comes from a deep, quiet commitment to your craft, from the hours no one sees, from the effort you put in, not to be applauded, but to be better. When you immerse yourself fully in your work, you begin to build something unshakable, a foundation that isn't swayed by trends, criticism, or fleeting praise. You develop a kind of internal stability that cannot be shaken, because it was never built on public opinion. In the long run, those who dedicate themselves fully to their craft always rise above the noise. They don't need to speak loudly. Their results speak for them, clearly, undeniably. Stay humble. The moment you believe there's nothing left to learn, you begin to stagnate. Humility doesn't mean thinking less of yourself. It means recognizing that learning never stops. Most successful individuals in history remained students until the end, always learning, always refining, always evolving. Because growth is a lifelong process, and arrogance is the enemy of that process. When you embrace humility, you open the door to fresh insight, to unexpected lessons, to perspectives that challenge and sharpen you. You become more resilient, more adaptable. You continue evolving, but those who believe they've already arrived, they unknowingly begin to fall. Complacency creeps in, learning slows, and without even realizing it, they start slipping behind. Those who remain humble stay curious. They keep sharpening their minds, refining their actions, and evolving with purpose. They embrace humility not as weakness, but as a powerful strength. No matter how much you've achieved, There is always more to master, always another level of wisdom. The quiet learner, the one who listens more than they speak, the one who remains open to correction, is often the one who surpasses those who thought they already knew it all. Chapter 9. Why Silence Attracts the Right. People, when you live and win in silence, something powerful happens. You naturally filter your surroundings. You drive away those who are only drawn to noise, status, and superficial success. And you begin attracting those who value something deeper: discipline, authenticity, and quiet mastery. Because those who truly understand success don't chase flash. They respect effort. They recognize substance over spectacle. And when you keep your ambitions private, you start drawing in people who see your value, not your image. And in the next chapter, we'll explore how silence not only sharpens your circle, but protects your purpose. When you live in silence, you don't just filter out noise, you filter out people, and that's a gift. Because the fewer distractions around your purpose, the sharper your focus becomes. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your journey. Observe who remains in your life when you stop announcing your wins. Who shows up when there's no spotlight? That's when you see who's really with you for the right reasons. Seek relationships built on mutual growth, not admiration. Choose people who challenge you, support you, and push you forward, not those who simply feed off your progress or attach themselves to your momentum. Your energy is precious. Every interaction costs something: attention, time, emotional bandwidth. And when too many people are allowed into your space, you risk being drained by opinions, distractions, and subtle negativity. Guard your focus as fiercely as you guard your time. Be selective about who you allow into your inner world. There are those who will fuel your fire, and those who will quietly try to snuff it out. The fewer people who know your next move, the more protected your path becomes. Treat your journey like a sacred mission. It doesn't need to be broadcast. It doesn't require constant applause. By keeping it private, you preserve its power. You maintain its purity, and in that quiet space, you move with freedom. You walk lighter, unburdened by the weight of other people's curiosity. Every ounce of energy you protect is energy you can reinvest into your true purpose. Chapter 10. The Power of Letting Them Watch. Eventually, at the end of the road, the people who once doubted you, dismissed you, or underestimated you will see. They'll witness what you've built. But by then, their approval won't matter, because you didn't do it for them. You did it for you. That's the essence of winning in silence. When your results become so undeniable, you don't need to speak. The work does it for you, loudly, clearly, powerfully. The world will see, but by the time it does, it'll be too late for them to catch up. And in that moment, you'll realize a deeper truth. This journey was never about them. It was always about you. So let them wonder. Keep building. Don't waste energy trying to prove anyone wrong. Focus instead on proving yourself right by becoming who you said you would become, by hitting your goals with quiet, consistent effort, by surpassing even your own expectations, because the desire to prove others wrong. That's ego. But proving yourself right? That's self-mastery. And in the next chapter, we'll explore how shifting away from external competition and focusing solely on internal excellence unlocks an unstoppable momentum that no one can take from you, proving yourself. Right isn't about ego, it's about purpose. And when you stop performing for others and start building for yourself, that's when real transformation begins. Let your success be undeniable, not to silence the doubters, but to honor your own persistence. Let it stand as a quiet, unwavering testament to how far you've come, not for applause, but for your own sense of fulfillment. Because the moment you stop chasing validation or revenge and instead commit to fulfilling your potential, you unlock a level of power that no critic can ever touch. It's a kind of internal freedom that can't be shaken because it was never built for them. It was built for you. Stay focused. The work is never truly done because mastery has no finish line. Every summit you reach reveals another peak. Every skill refined reveals another waiting to be mastered. Every level unlocked is simply preparation for the next test of your discipline. True success isn't a destination. It's a practice, a continuous process of growth, evolution, and relentless improvement. The strongest individuals understand this deeply. They know that complacency is the real enemy, not failure. Those who think they've made it begin to fall behind. But those who stay committed to the craft, no matter the recognition, keep climbing, quietly, consistently, powerfully. Even when you reach milestones, don't stop. Because there's always another level, always more to refine. Always another version of yourself waiting to be uncovered. Stay hungry, stay humble, stay in motion. Never let success make you slow down. Not because you are never enough, but because you are capable of so much more than you can currently imagine. The Stoics reminded us that true mastery is internal. It cannot be measured by applause, fame, or external approval. It's measured by how much you've grown, how deeply you've disciplined yourself, and how far you've come without needing anyone to notice. So, win in silence, let them watch, but most importantly, keep going, because in the end, the only person you ever needed to impress was you.